Here's a visual picture of it so people can see it if you're watching the video. So, but I'm going to explain it without even looking at it. So basically, picture a stool with 3 legs, right? And again, there's a lot of people who use the 3-legged stool in different ways, right? So I'm not the first one ever to do it. But when you think about it for your presentation, you have a stool with 3 legs. The seat of the stool represents the purpose. What is the purpose of your presentation? So I always say before you attach the leg, start with the seat. What's the why? Someone asked you to deliver a presentation or you found a need. There's got to be a purpose, right? So that's the seat of the stool, and that's what holds everything together. That's like the hub, or that's like the center point, the centerpiece of your mind map. Sitting on that stool is your audience, right? Whether it's 1 person, 10 people, or 1,000 people, or 100,000 people, who's sitting on that stool? So those are the 2 things you need to think about before you start designing and coming up with content. Who's my audience and what's my purpose, right? So am I talking to 1 person about this, or am I talking to 1,000 people about something else, right? Then the 3 legs of the stool represent, and just like a stool with only 1 or 2 legs, it's going to tip over if you don't focus on all 3. The first leg is your content, right? What am I going to include, but also what am I going to leave out? And I often say that's the hardest part, right? We know so much stuff, we have so much we want to share, we're passionate, but if you may only have 5 minutes, or you may have a half hour, an hour, or 60 hours, right? But the time constraint will help to dictate how much you can cover, and then from your wealth of content, how much you can include and what you can include and what you're not going to include, right? So that's where you do your research, you come up with your content. Then the second leg of the stool is kind of what we were just talking about. That's where you take that content and you mind map it out. You come up with the structure, you storyboard it, you think about what examples am I going to use, what stories am I going to tell, etc., what metaphors. That's the design. So it's content, design, and delivery. The third leg of the stool is actually getting up there and doing it, but that includes your preparation and you're figuring out, is it Zoom or on a stage? Is this in an auditorium or is this a small, intimate, conference room? I always talk about sometimes a client will contact me and ask me to do like a leadership training, and I always walk them through the who, what, when, where, and why, because that will determine the how, right? Who is it for? What are we training them on? When and where is it? Why are you doing it? And together, when you add all that stuff up, now let's figure out the how, right? So the how, you need to figure out what is the context going to be based on everything that you talked about, audience, purpose, content, and design. Then the design leg, the delivery leg of the stool, is about your preparation and then ultimately your presentation. That's everything from how are you going to synchronize with your slides, what technology you're going to use, your body language, or your preparation and practice that leads up to it.